What's up, everybody? Nonpon here, and in this video I'm gonna cover if Cherno is worth your pools or not. Now let me tell you a little bit about Cherno before I give you my opinion. Cherno here is a submachine gun DPSer, which is very interesting because one of the biggest weaknesses of submachine guns were their ricochet value. So when you would shoot an enemy, it's pretty frequently that bullets would bounce off the enemy and not inflict damage. Now Cherno's interesting in the case that she has a passive where if a bullet does ricochet off an enemy, there will be an extra additional stack inflicted on that enemy instead. And I say the word stacks, there's really like 4 different types of verbiage when it comes to stacks on this character, all of which I will explain in a guide later. But basically what you have to know is that she is unlike any submachine gun character and makes up really well for the weaknesses that they usually have. Okay, her standard skill is very fun to use, can be used for mobbing and for bossing. Support skill, you probably won't use it much since she's on the field mostly, but it's usable. It can be used with a navigator set, and her ultimate is also very, very strong. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I kinda had my doubts. I thought to myself, doesn't really matter what kind of DPS we have. If it's a submachine gun, I don't have my hopes up. And I can say without a doubt, guys, I am pleasantly surprised. Not just with this character, but with how perfect they have her power, okay? She is, how do I explain this? You guys know, like in the Olympics, how they each have their different starting position? I know that there's different radiuses for the race, right? Depending on how far back they start. But hear me out. I feel like Yao is definitely still the best person in the game, but she's starting far in the back. Because with Yao, you gotta have all the ingredients for her, right? You gotta have her weapon, you gotta have an energy booster, you have to have a good damage support with her. So she starts far in the back, but she has that burst later on to push her ahead, right? Katya is like up in the middle, doesn't need to rely on too many teammates, really good in co-op. And Cherno is kind of like that too. Like, I'm really liking how the more DPS characters we're introduced with, the less reliant they are on other characters. So in my honest opinion, with how much value she can bring to your account, I mean, if you already have an established account with Katya and Yao, you could skip her if you want to. But in my opinion, this character is very, very strong. And another reason why I consider her super strong is how selfless she is. She can work with almost any support in the game and be fine. She can work with Redacted, she can work with Moxer, she can work with Tess, right? She can work with Kaguya, she can work with so many supports. She's not very specific, right? And that's what I enjoy most about her, is that she kind of already has her full kit for you. And the more you invest into her, the more powerful she'll be. That's just Gacha in general. But in my opinion, she's definitely a character worth pulling. I feel like the word must pull or must have doesn't really fit this game very well, because we're coming up to a year and we have not had rampant power creep in this game. Instead, we have DPS in different fashions, and those different fashions of DPS work against different bosses. For example, Cherno will put down 3 different balls, and she wants to explode all these balls at the same time. I'll explain how this works later. And if she hits all 3 of them on a boss, it's gonna do insane damage. But if that boss is tiny, if that boss is teleporting, right, it's not so easy to hit those, right? But if the boss is big, it's completely easy to hit them because they're holding still probably. So that's what I mean, is that there's just different fashions of DPS that work in different departments, like even Haru. Haru was a character that people never would use for bossing, and yet people still use her for Fiend, right? People use Katya for any bosses that have armor because she's really good at destroying armor. People still use Yao against anything that has a white shield because white shields take more ballistic damage. So in my opinion, if you are struggling against bigger bosses, that's not Joseph Harden. I don't think she's very good against Joseph Harden. That's a good character to pick up. Regarding her weapons, money equals DPS. This weapon is pretty insane. It's very, very, very good. If you choose to invest into the event weapon instead, that's also fine. The event weapon is very powerful. As a matter of fact, if you tier 5 the event weapon, it's more powerful, yes, more powerful than a tier 2 100 battle veteran. I have this thing at tier 2, right? And I am so upset that the event weapon is more powerful than this. But you know, it is what it is. So if you can get her weapon, that's also a good pickup. If you can't, again, that's how it works. Gacha money equals DPS, but still, regardless, I think she's a very powerful character. I know I'm making a guide later, but I will answer some frequently asked questions I get. One is, what do you want on her logistics? It's just attack percent, alignment index, and chaos damage. Aim for those for more damage. And another question I get is like her neuron priority. Neuron priority, I would prioritize her standard skill and then her ultimate, and probably like ignore her support skill for last. That's what I'll cover for now. Look forward to the guide I'm going to be making because this guide is going to cook. I absolutely love this character and I can't wait to finish this guide for her. So look out for that video. I will be streaming Snowbreak tonight as well. If you want to hang out, I'll plug my Twitch below. If you have more questions, if you don't want to wait for the guide, you can just ask me the questions live on stream, get your answer ahead of time. Okay. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. How are you liking this character? Were you able to not buy the maid outfit? Because I feel like her default outfit's kind of cool too. I don't know, but both outfits are good. I love them both. Anyway, this is a good character for the game. I personally think you should pull for her. I think you should pull for the weapon as well. Completely up to you though, based off your account. Maybe if you already have a Katya and a Yao, it may not augment your account as much, but I'm enjoying her a lot. So I'll leave that up to you guys. Let me know. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.